Hi there, I'm Crystal with Charming Cheek, and I have been asked to help folks customize their snap tabs that are being used for the Lynn's Handmade Purse Pal and Pocket Pal. And so I had shared a few weeks ago some Animal Crossing leaf tabs that I had made for my own personal use. I'm not selling them. And so the caveat that I want to mention is that if you want to take into account copyright protection, licensing, and those kinds of things. So this is just to show you the method, and this is for my personal use. I am not selling that. I think I've already said that. I want to say it again. So be mindful of that. So whatever images that you take from Google, you want to make sure that you have the right to use them. Okay, so first I'm in a blank area on Design Space, and I need to upload the tabs. The tabs are purchased through lynshandmade.com, and they're included as a free bonus when you purchase the full PDF pattern for the Pocket Pal and the Purse Pal. Patterns are, I think, under $5 a piece, and there's a discount code in the Facebook group. So it's worth joining the group so you can get that discount code. So I've navigated down here to my tabs, and I'm going to choose Insert Images. They load. I'm now going to choose Ungroup, verifying that the 1-inch test square is in fact 1 inch, and it is, so I'm going to delete it. I'm also going to delete the second tab because we're going to be duplicating our customized one. I like to work with it, excuse me, oriented in the way that it's going to be on the Purse Pal. So I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees, and here we are. And now I'm going to, on the contours part, I'm just going to leave it alone on this one. The Pocket Pal is a little bit different, but this one, that little cut hole is included as a part of the contour rather than a separate image that's attached, or a second tab that's attached. Sorry, I know that was confusing. Okay, so now I want to insert my Animal Crossing leaf so that I can match the Animal Crossing vinyl that I'm using. So I need to go to Google and find a leaf. I've entered Animal Crossing leaf in here, and then I've gone to images, and I scrolled through and I looked at these different options. And this is one that I like a lot. I'm going to try this one out and see how it works. So I've clicked on it here, and now I'm going to right click and choose Save Image As. And I'm going to save it to my desktop just so it's handy. Okay, it's going to save to the JPEG, that's fine. And I'm going to go back into Cricut, and I'm going to choose Upload. And now I'm going to tell it that I want to upload an image. I'm going to tell it where to look. Well, we already know that it's on the desktop. I don't know if this is humongous for you guys or not, but it's gigantic on my screen right now. So I'm choosing AC Leaf, and I'm going to choose Open. And now when it loads in, it needs to be kind of cleaned up a bit. So it's simple. It has a high contrast colors. And so it's definitely a simple object. I'm going to choose Continue. And going to make it smaller so we can see here on the screen together. Now I need to remove the background. If I were to preview it right now without removing the background, it would be a big gigantic square, and that doesn't help anybody. So I'm going to hide preview. I'm going to click here, and now it's going to make all of this background clear so that now we have the leaf shapes. Let's try preview again. I already know that it isn't perfect, but I want you to see what it looks like when we go through this step. So it looks great, except for this information down here is not necessary. So I'm going to choose Hide Preview, and I'm going to come up here to the erase function. I'm going to choose the big erase cursor because I have a lot of room to work with here. And I'm just going to hold down my left key and scrub out that lettering. Preview again, and it looks amazing. Perfect. So let's choose Continue. I'm going to call this AC Leaf. And I don't need to save it as a print then cut image because all I'm going to do is cut with it. I'm not going to print it out onto something like heat transfer vinyl, printable vinyl, and then cut it. I'm just simply going to cut it from regular fabric vinyl. So I'm going to click on here, and AC Leaf is a good name. I could rename it if I wanted to, but I don't, and I'm going to choose Upload. Now here it is in my uploaded files. I'm going to come back here just because if you are not familiar with this, you might think that if you were had previously a few days ago uploaded your leaf, that you would then go to images because it's an image. But in fact, you go to upload. So when you go to upload, here is your file, and I'm going to choose insert images, and my leaf populates onto my canvas. So I need to make it a little bit smaller to be kind of sized appropriately for our tab. So now we have these two on top of each other, and I'm just kind of putting it where it's pleasing to me. There is no right or wrong way to do this. I am going to take both of these. I'm holding down my left key. I'm selecting both. I'm releasing my left, and then it selects both of these items. And I'm going to choose align and then center horizontally. And this worked really well for this shape. But I do want to mention that there is a mathematical center, and then there is a center that is to your eye centered. So depending on which shape you're using, you might have this centered, but if it had a really long tail hanging out here, maybe we're doing some kind of a dragonfly or a butterfly or something, it may center it this way, but it wouldn't be centered on the bulk of the object. And so it will look a little bit strange. It just so happened that the align and center horizontally worked fine. So don't be afraid to move that to where it looks best to your eye. All right, so I have both of these here. I'm going to select them again by doing Shift, dragging my mouse, release. They're both selected. And now I'm going to choose weld. I want these to all be one item. Okay, and it looks like an Animal Crossing leaf to me. I know what it is, and so I would be happy with this. But if you weren't happy with this, maybe your Animal Crossing leaf came in a little bit differently, you can just choose undo, which is the arrow here, or Control Z on your keyboard. Let's say that your Animal Crossing leaf came in like this into your Cricut design space. Okay, so let's select them both and choose weld. Well, now that looks kind of silly, right? So I'm going to undo because I don't want these welded. And just keep in mind that because you're welding these, you're going to lose somewhat of the definition of your shape of your silhouette, but you do need to play around a little bit. Another fun thing could be is that because we need to insert a snap tab, maybe you want to move your Animal Crossing leaf up a little bit so that your snap tab will be in the notched area of your leaf. Let's try that. So we're going to select both of them and choose weld. And that looks okay, but it almost looks like a heart, or it looks like all kinds of different things. So I don't like that. I'm going to go back to the first way we had it. I'm going to bring this down here. And then center this. Let's do that one more time. Align, center horizontally. Moved it over there. Looks great. Select them both. Weld. Okay, so now I have a shape. I know what this is. This is great. When I'm sewing it at my sewing machine, I could always add a stitch detail here to kind of delineate where the edge of the leaf is. But now we need our hole for that snap tab. So I could have not deleted my first extra tab, but I'm going to insert those tabs again so that I kind of can line up those holes. So insert here, rotate these 90 degrees. This is just your second chance to see how to ungroup everything, right? Let's pretend I did this on purpose. Delete that, delete that. I want to put this here. I'm going to align, I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to align them at the top. Then I'm going to now insert a little hole about in the same place that that hole is. So I'm going to shapes and circle. And I just need a little tiny circle, so I'm going to drag it and kind of compare it over here to this one. My hole is a little bit smaller. Okay, look at this tiny bit. Looks pretty good. Okay, so let's take it over here. That's about lined up. I could use a ruler and I could do this, but it doesn't really matter that much. It's not that big of a deal. You have plenty of room to play up here with where your snap tab is going up in the into the seam allowance. So I'm going to click both of these items, and now I'm going to choose, oops, it only grabbed the one. So let me drag, and I'm going to align, center horizontally. Now that little dot is right there in the center. And now I don't want to do weld, because if I do weld, it's going to make it disappear again. It's all going to become one solid piece. Instead, I want to do attach, and then that attaches it to there, and we're good to go. So now I really can delete this guy. Note to you guys, don't delete your extra one like I did at the beginning. Okay, so now we have this and it's great. And what we want to do is create a duplicate. So we're going to come up here and choose duplicate, or you could right click and choose duplicate. And we have a 2-layered snap tab. I want to flip this one horizontal. So now we have a mirror image of each other, and now it's ready to go. One thing I'm going to try on the purse pal I'm going to make later today is that I'm going to try to make this underside tab a bit shorter so that I'm only sewing through one layer of the snap tab to see if that can help me with some of the bulk. And so this is just me playing around. I don't have this measured out yet, but I'm going to show you how to slice. So I just need to make a box, and I want to cut in about this far. Okay, so I'm going to use this as kind of a slicing tool. So first I have to detach this, because when you slice, you can only have 2 options or 2 objects selected. So I'm going to choose these 2, and then I'm going to choose slice. That's going to take off this, this, and this. And now my snap tab is just a little bit shorter. And so I'm going to attach these at my sewing machine. I'm going to stitch, stitch, stitch all the way around, with both of these sandwiched together, and then not stitch along the top. I can do a faux stitching line right here to make it look as if it's stitched together. But then my hope is that when I actually sandwich this into my purse pal, that it'll be a little bit easier by removing some of this bulk. I'm eyeballing it right now. It looks like maybe I cut down into it too deep, but you get the idea. You can do less than me, or just ignore it, or just slice it off at your cutting table. Right? You don't have to do it on your Cricut mat. Okay, so now I need to add my little circle hole back again. So it's in there, it's just hiding. I'm going to arrange this to send it to the back. That popped up my little circle there at the beginning. I'm going to select both of these items again. I'm going to choose attach, and we're good to go. To get rid of all these extra pieces, I'm going to hold down my left button as I'm dragging, release it, hit delete, and I think we're good to go. So then from here, I would just continue on with first save. Before you click make it, save, because you don't want to have to do this again. And sometimes funny things can happen when you go in to make it. So I'm going to choose save. I'm going to call it my AC tabs. And my AC tabs will save successfully. If I were to go on to make it, I would continue. My Cricut that I'm going to use here is the machine. Oh, okay. So this is the thing that we can go over. I have both an Explorer Air and a Maker, and just a little bit ago I was using my Explorer Air. So I need to change back to my Maker. So I'm going to change this on my canvas, and up here, instead of Explorer, I'm going to choose Maker. Now I'm going to choose Make It. It's looking for, I'm going to choose continue. It's going to look for my Maker. My Maker is turned on. I promise it is. Is it turned on now? Okay, good. So now I need to tell it what kind of material to use. And I like to use the non-adhesive vinyl 20 gauge. And I'm going to choose, got a visitor coming. Hi, I'm doing a Zoom recording. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so then we're going to load the mat, and then load, make sure that we have the fine point blade in the clamp B, which we do, and then go ahead and go through the steps of clicking it and making it. So I'm not going to go through that because it's pretty straightforward. And if you need me to, if you're not familiar with Maker and something like that would be helpful, let me know. But I am trying to keep this quick and out to you guys. And I apologize for talking so fast. Hope it wasn't too quick for you. If you have any questions, or if it doesn't make sense and you need me to go over something again, please let me know in the comments. This is my second video ever So I'm not sure how it's going, but I do enjoy helping people and learning. I'm happy to be the one messing up and making mistakes so that you don't have to, and would be happy to help you out if you have any questions. Okay, thanks guys. Now to figure out how to stop the recording. Bye.